Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chow with Lau. And today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favourite Chinese dishes, salt and pepper pork chops. Let's do this. So salt and pepper pork chops is definitely on my top 10 list of favourite foods. It's salty, it has that umami, it's got that chili, it's got a crispy coating, it's got juicy pork. What else could you want? Honestly, if I was entering a competition to introduce the best Chinese dish in the world, this is probably the dish I would enter. Before we start the recipe, I have got a little brain teaser from you. No, I haven't been learning a new language. See if you can rearrange the letters on this anagram to complete a phrase. The first correct entry in the comment section will get a shout out in the next video. So I'm going to be using pork shoulder steaks for this recipe, and the reason why I picked this cut of meat is because of the nice marbling that runs through it. The fat makes it so that when it cooks it's still nice and tender and juicy. There are very lean pork chops on the market which are very good, but if you cook it like this they can go a little bit dry, so this is my weapon of choice. Right guys, so the first thing we're going to do is deal with our pork steaks. They're quite thick, so the first thing to do is to tenderize them and make them thinner, and we can do that by using the back of our knife and just to pound it like so. So as well as tenderizing the meat, it's making it thinner, and you can feel all the tension leaving your body. It's great. Okay, so now we've got it like that, we can use the natural striations to cut it into sections. I've got this line running across here, so I'm going to cut it across like so. And just to make it even more manageable, I'm going to cut it down the middle here. So we're going to have quarters. Yes, I remember my maths. So we're going to do that to each pork steak. So the next two steps are to velvet the pork and then to marinate it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to add a teaspoon of cornflour and half a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate or baking soda. And we're going to rub that all the way into our pork, and this will start to make a big difference to how tender the pork is going to be. So for the marinade itself, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, a tablespoon of sesame oil, a teaspoon of sugar, and a little bit of a secret weapon. This is Worcestershire sauce, which looks like this. I don't know if you've got it in the States. I think you have. Worcestershire sauce, that's what you should be looking for. I can't even pronounce it properly. And I'm British. But there you go. If you haven't tried it before, it's got a tangy, sharp flavour to it, but it brings out the best in all meats. It really works for beef, pork, chicken even. It just gives it that little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of tanginess that goes with, it cuts through the pork, if you know what I mean. Pork is one of those meats that's quite bland on its own, and this is going to give it that little bit of zing, which I think really works. So we're going to rub this in as well, and then we're going to set it aside for about an hour. Next I'm going to prepare the aromatics. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic here, so I'm just going to give them a smash like so, and then I'm just going to finely chop them. So they end up looking a little bit like that. Next I have my chili. I've picked a medium chili for this. Pick your weapon of choice. Tread lightly if you're not that much into your spice. This one is not very hot, but I'm still going to remove the seeds. Mainly because I don't like the grittiness. As usual, the general rule of thumb with chilies is the smaller they are, the hotter they are. Now that doesn't follow for every single chili, so just be a little bit cautious when you come to choosing. And all we're going to do is ever so finely slice them. And that's going to give us a nice chili kick to our crispy pork. There you go. It's also going to add a nice splash of red colour to our dish, and that's always nice. Now don't forget, after you've chopped chilies or handled them, wash your hands, especially the gentlemen, you know what I mean. I've also just finely sliced a small white onion, and this is going to go into the stir fry with the pork at the end. Right, now it's time to prepare our seasoning. So to start with, we've got 2 teaspoons of salt in this ramekin. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of white pepper. I'm also going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. We'll give it a good mix. And that is our seasoning right there. So we're nearly ready for the deep fry now. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to crack an egg into the pork, and we're going to massage this in. And this is going to help the cornstarch or cornflour coating stick to our pork and give us an extra crispy coating, which is obviously exactly what we're aiming for. Onto the crispy coating. What I've got here is about 200 grams of cornflour or cornstarch, and what we're going to do is we're going to pop our pork into it. And we're just going to make sure it gets a nice coating like that. Okay, 200 grams is probably too much, but what we've got to bear in mind is we want too much rather than too little, otherwise it's just not going to create that coating for you. Right guys, so I've got my nice fizzing wooden chopstick in here. It's time to deep fry. We're going to do a double fry today because the pork is quite thick. We want to make sure that it's cooked through whilst retaining a crispy coating that is not burned. If you try to do it all in one go, you could end up with raw pork in the middle and a burnt outer coating, which is no good to anybody. So this makes the crispy coating even more crispy, but it ensures that the pork is nicely cooked too. It's easier to do actually, it just takes a little bit longer. The other thing to bear in mind is not to overload our oil. We're probably going to have to do this in 2 batches anyway, so probably 4 fries all together. Okay. The initial fry doesn't have to be quite as hot as the second fry because this one's more like the cooking action. And the second fry is going to give us our crispy coating. Okay. Not that it's not going to be crispy after the first fry, but it's going to be even crispier after the second fry. There you go. So it's a very, very pale colour. It isn't properly cooked yet. But for the first stage, that's perfect. We're going to fish it out and set it aside. Yep, I think we are done. So we're going to fish it out and set it aside again. Right guys, we're on the home stretch. What I'm going to do is put a couple of tablespoons of oil into the wok, get that hot, and I'm going to start by putting my aromatics, the chili and the garlic, followed swiftly by our onion. Wow, the aroma's coming, I can taste it through the smell, it's gorgeous. Right, and then we're gonna add our pork, like that, and we're gonna toss that through. Get that chili flavour all the way through. Not forgetting our seasoning mix. Salt, garlic powder, white pepper. So we're going to sprinkle this evenly across. So and give it a good toss to coat it all the way through. Try to get it evenly. So this whole process is going to take about a minute, and then we are done. So the onions are not fully cooked, they'll retain some crunch, but the sweetness should be coming through. The worst thing you can do is actually burn the onion. You don't want that at all. Okay, look at that. YouTube, you need to invent smell-o-vision. You really do. Okay, and that's it. There you go, guys. That is my version of heaven. Where do I start? Right, thought just the nearest piece will be fine. Excuse fingers, naturally. Oh my God. It's everything you'd hope and expect it to be. The crispy coating, the soft tender pork, the saltiness from the salt, the garlickiness from the garlic and the garlic powder, the chili, not too hot, was a medium chili, perfect. That is delicious. One of the best things I've made on this channel. You have got to try it. It is delicious. People will fall at your feet and worship you if you make it for them. Guaranteed. You are gonna love it. So please do try it, and when you do, leave me some comments below. Let me know how it goes, how much you love it, because you are gonna love it. So I hope some of you got the correct answer to the anagram I set at the beginning of the video. I didn't set you a hard one because it was the first one. However, I might have confused some of my British viewers because I used an American spelling for one of the words, but that's purely because I ran out of gaps on one of the lines. So hopefully we'll do it again next time, and whoever got the first comment in that was correct will get a shout out on the next video. So thanks again for watching, guys. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, comment and share this video far and wide, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye bye.